Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm with my bro Alex of lolly.com, and we're going to talk about my favorite way to acquire Bitcoin, earning it while spending fiat. It's like the best kickback. Alex, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let everybody know a little bit about yourself, who you are, maybe how you got into crypto, and maybe how that led you to Lolly.
Great. Yep. So first off, thanks for having me. My name's Alex. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Lolly. We give people free Bitcoin when they shop online.
That's that's it. And we're done. We're done, guys. Bye. Have a day.
Gotta
Yeah, that
go.
is amazing though. So like how did you yourself get into crypto? Because that's always like one of the more interesting ways to get to know somebody in this space.
Yeah, it's sort of like a rite of passage. Like, what, what,
Right.
what year did you get in? Like, pretty much everyone I meet, it's like, oh, 2012, 2014, 2015. And then you say, oh, this is a good year, good year.
Yeah, it's like wine, right? It's like, crypto ages fine like wine.
Yeah, swirl it around a little bit,
I
stack
got
those.
in around the second happening.
Yeah. So I guess I wish I got in when I first heard about it. I
Same.
was at a bar randomly. I was like building my last company, and we were on this mission to democratize commerce, give everybody in the world the ability to buy and sell anywhere. And I remember being at a bar in New York, and I was like crashing on couches, and I heard like Ryan Shea. I randomly met him that night, and he was telling me like all about Bitcoin. He's the founder of Blockstack and early Bitcoiner. And he was telling me all about Bitcoin. I think had recently learned about it and was on this big kick. And
Oh yeah, he
so
was he was midway down the rabbit hole.
yeah, and I saw like what that looked like, and I it was pretty. I guess it was pretty inspiring to see like what it means. Like it's sort of like everything that we were building with democratization of commerce, native to a currency, and giving everyone in the world the ability to own the same asset, trade that asset, person to person, was just like phenomenal. So I started to get really into it. I told my whole team about it. We had a little Slack channel that was just Bitcoin. Like we were all like really into it. It was really cool. But it was always like on the side. We were building like a payments e-commerce gateway, and it really didn't make a lot of sense as a payments tool at that time. And then a couple years later, I think I had bought Bitcoin on my 30K a year salary that I was paying myself, and
Nice.
I was like really excited, and it just sort of gave me like this skin in the game to get involved in the space and just pay attention to it. So yeah, we like stayed in touch with a lot of people that I had met in the space, and like got to follow it over the years. And then after we ended up getting acquired by our biggest customer, which is Pop Sugar, to come in and
Oh,
power
that congrats.
1.2 billion in retail revenue over there. And then we ended up growing about 10x post acquisition and getting acquired by an even bigger company called Ebates. And Ebates came along and bought us away from Pop Sugar, and we ended up learning all about like the cashback model. And the cashback model is really interesting. You go to these merchants and you say we're going to send you users, and these users are going to buy from your site.
Yep.
And when they purchase, the retailer pays them. So it's a very simple model. We got to meet all these merchants over the last 7 years in the space and learn this model. After we parted ways, after about a year, my team and I started to like think about what problem we wanted to solve. And I personally think the biggest problem in Bitcoin and crypto is distribution problem. So best way to like give people something back is for them to earn it, and for them to take something that they're already doing, which is shopping online. And everybody shops online. It's super easy. Everybody travels. They buy groceries. They get food delivery, which I'll talk about later. And so that people have all these like rituals, and most of the world are not investors. So if you can take something like shopping and give someone the ability to get involved in Bitcoin, and similar to myself, just give them a little bit to get involved, that's when they start to pay attention to it. That's when they start to go down the rabbit hole. And then it's our job, it's our shared job, to educate people once they've come in, and teach them about the power of sound money and cryptocurrency, and the power of digital cash, and all these sort of things that are going to connect our world in the future.
No, definitely. I feel like it's like our communal like responsibility to sort of help people on ramp safely into this. A lot of people may not feel that, and a lot of people may be like the day traders who just want to make more fiat off of this, but it's much bigger than that. And yeah, you're right. Getting it into the hands of people that have fiat, that don't, care about crypto, and it's like a byproduct. Now they're getting this crypto thing just because they're doing what they've been doing all along. It's a great little like Easter egg, to kind of get people involved more so than like do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Satoshi Nakamoto and freeing currency? Like it freaks people out sometimes. Like you just gotta. Here's $5 worth of Bitcoin. Figure it out. Get it out of a Bitcoin ATM. You'll get used to it, and that is how it works. And I was at Loyalty Live in Chicago. Thanks to the Untraceable team, they put on a conference there, and I got to talk to American Airlines and McDonald's and a lot of these big companies that use like loyalty and rewards, like legacy technology, and their eyes lit up when you start talking about things like NFTs or smart contracts with public address, data mining. You have all your customers addresses when they shop with you with crypto. You have so many ways they've now reached back out to them. And then you're like, kind of waking them up to it's not just the banks that are companies' middlemen. There's so many middlemen in the loyalty and reward system.
Exactly. There's gonna be some. I mean, you brought up smart contracts. I think there's some really interesting inefficiencies in the loyalty crypto space, just with how people are getting payouts. You have these really clunky databases, these really clunky dumb contracts, essentially, that are really just like run by these networks are like these glorified accounting systems, and it's just like really clunky and
Oh, and they
inefficient.
cook their own books, guaranteed.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of innovation that's going to come to like the loyalty space through digital cash, through like smart contracts and all that good
Oh yeah,
stuff.
you can verify the public ledger of this, and you can audit the smart contracts to make sure that it is fair, and that a lot of people gamify the legacy reward systems, by trying to cheat the gaming, and they get you can get banned from like a store's loyalty system. I've kind of come across that conversation at the conference. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently there's like loyalty arbitrage, which is weird, but it's
Oh yeah.
real. Yeah, I don't know, but I wanted to dig into Lolly a little bit here and check out the website and see like, so what's the process like when you're trying to shop on Lolly and earn crypto?
Yeah, so it's super simple. We actually just made a 30 second video yesterday just to show that you can like do it, download it, get it set up, and start earning Bitcoin in less than 30 seconds. So you go to lolly.com, you download the extension. We're live on Chrome, Safari. Tomorrow we're actually launching Firefox.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Firefox.
Okay, yeah, privacy focused browser. Like we're really pumped for that one. And then yeah, you download it. You go to these stores that you go to like lolly.com/stores, and let's just say you want to shop at Walmart or Booking.com or wherever you want to shop. You press shop, you go to the site, and then you buy as you normally would. So you spend fiat and you earn Bitcoin back.
So I'm on Adidas website. I'm not on Lolly's website anymore. But from here on out, when I shop, I'll be earning Bitcoin.
Yeah, 6% back at Adidas. We just signed them, so that was a big win for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's this first thing I was looking at. I was like, I kind of need new kicks, and I was gonna send these out to get airbrushed because I want to get some like crypto kicks. And somebody was talking about the shell tops, and I was like, you know what? I need to get some shell tops.
Yeah, we've been talking about getting some lolly kicks, just like some purple Adidas or something with to celebrate the partnership.
Yeah, do it. It would be dope. I love the shell tops, man. They're evergreen, forever classics. I mean, I know everybody was about the Air Force Ones for a while, but that obviously faded out. Check out the shell tops, still top wanted item.
Yeah. Okay, I like this. I'm rocking these Air Force or these Air Max 90s.
Oh, they're sick.
Yeah, we were trying to get Nike on board as well.
So how do these partnerships work out? Because I see a lot of websites that say they have partnerships with like this and that, and it's more so just buying gift cards and things. Like I had BitRefill on recently, and it's not like BitRefill partnered with Tinder, but I can buy a Tinder membership through BitRefill with Bitcoin. It's just a little bit different. Now, is this more like a direct partnership? Like these companies are aware that they're incentivizing people to shop, and their incentivization is crypto.
Yeah, so we're playing this long game where, yeah, sure, you could go get a bunch of affiliate partnerships and you could do a bunch of like hacks, I guess. And I'm not saying like, I mean, I think BitRefill is great. I think that a lot of these are like early systems and products are great for crypto adoption. We're just sort of taking a more long view approach. I personally think of developing these like long term, deeper partnerships. We get better rates than anybody because we have direct partnerships. We're able to, we've known a lot of these people for 7 years, so it's really using our existing relationships to leverage these deep partnerships and to get the best rates back. So, I mean, just for instance, like our average percent back is 7% across all of our merchants.
Oh wow.
And think about an early user that came to Lolly and said, "Oh, I've never had Bitcoin before," and they download Lolly. And when we launched, people were earning at 3,500. So now that Bitcoin's up to 8,000, a lot of people effectively that 7%, they've earned 15% back. So already we're effectively almost twice as good as Ebates because we have those same relationships and we have the same rates, but we're offering this ability to own this currency that so far has gone up
Yeah,
since we
you're
launched.
well. You're
So
familiar to the legacy industries. I mean, you were around doing business with these people before crypto, which I guess makes the conversations a lot more comfortable for them too, because you're a familiar face in new territory, and that's where I think a lot of the companies run into some like barriers of entry. Is like they're just popping up out of a garage trying to get things going, and it's a little bit tougher. So the legacy that you have is definitely going to go a long way for sure. I see right here it says like up to 12% Bitcoin back. I mean, that is amazing. So like how do you get the Bitcoin to give people for shopping through this plugin? Because like people wonder how Bitcoin gets value. I'm just curious, like where do you get the Bitcoin from?
yeah, so we use OTCs, like top OTCs. So we're getting really good prices for our users. We're I think across like 15 different exchanges with our OTCs to get like the best price. And like most of our users don't know that we're getting them the best price, but we are. And then we buy the Bitcoin and then we hold it in your custodial Lolly wallet. And then after $15, which typically takes a couple purchases, you can withdraw it anywhere you want. I personally think that people should trust us with at least $15 of Bitcoin, but it's up to them. I totally abide by the.
Well, I guess that's because of like the transaction fees and things like that with the network, I'd bet.
Yeah, we just don't want to. We don't want anyone to get killed with like transaction fees, and there's also like we want to be able to give people free Bitcoin when they start. So if I'd love to go give someone like $5 in free Bitcoin, but we want to encourage them to also use it and not just like take it out of the system and to use Lolly.
To kind of game the platform too, yeah.
Totally. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now. It's been really exciting so far. We have over 750 merchants on the platform, some really big names, and yeah, we're growing really fast and launching some new partnerships like just about every week.
Have you guys thought about integrating anything like Lightning or stuff like that? So like the customers that shop with crypto would just use your Lightning channel, and there's fees in that you could like. I feel like Lightning is like really underrated right now.
It's awesome. We've been playing around with it on the back end and like talking with a lot of the Lightning developers. We're in like the Telegram channels, and I'm friends with Elizabeth over there, and met Bosworth the other day
Oh,
when I was
cool.
in SF. I love that team. I think that they're totally on the right track. It's one of my favorite projects in the Bitcoin space. And yeah, I think that like I kind of take the approach where I don't want to be there's definitely like issues right now with the network for scalability, and we're like I want to sort of wait a little bit until it truly makes sense. Our model doesn't really break down with the current limitations of Bitcoin. We're doing batch purchasing. If people want to extract like take Bitcoin out, that's where they would have some cost savings and speed with Lightning. But right now we're not in like a giant rush to launch that. So we want to do it. We want to make sure it's right. We want to teach people about why Lightning is important and do this whole education series to all of our users about
Oh,
what
that's
Lightning
cool.
is and why it's different. I don't think that a lot of people would understand it if we just like launched it randomly and it had like different. So there's a lot more. There's a lot of complexity to it.
Well, I like that it's custodial up to $15 because now you're not kind of disincentivizing people that may not be interested in crypto to not even do it because that's people hear the rabbit hole stories and some people are inspired like yourself and myself as well, but others are kind of like ain't got time for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that it looks like you haven't eaten in 3 days to figure out what Bitcoin does. Like, I'm not doing that. It's not really that complicated. It's just the rabbit hole's that enticing. It's just, I feel like, up to $15 now, people are more incentivized to do that, research and go through the process of withdrawing it rather than hitting the educational barrier of like the burden of having to understand what private key is and means and don't share this address, but you can share this address. Yeah, they look the same, but one is your key, one is the lock. Like, it's really confusing to no coiners.
Exactly. You have to start with custodial. And I personally believe this. I think some people would disagree, but I personally think in order to get the next 100 million to a billion people on board, it's going to come in the form of custodial wallets. So that's what we have to do. And at some point, we'll launch our own non-custodial, and we'll sort of like the way I envision it is sort of giving people different steps by step. So if you're like level 1 is custodial wallet. Level 2 is, okay, now we're going to teach you how to own your own keys and have that. And then level 3 is like, maybe it's cold storage, having like, a hardware device, that sort of thing. And then on the roadmap to like have both web and mobile, for you to go in store and like buy a coffee and earn Bitcoin back, make it ritualistic. That's on our roadmap as well. And I think over time, part of why we want these deep partnerships with these merchants is I want to be at the forefront of adoption on the payment side as well. Like right now, no one wants to spend their Bitcoin, but over the next 10, maybe 20 years, people are going to want to spend their Bitcoin and
Right.
digital cash and stable coins.
Well, I guess
And
that's all relative, right? Like the people spending Bitcoin today are those who got in earlier than those today. It's a buy opportunity for some, it's a sell opportunity for others. Like for myself, I've been living off of Bitcoin. Today's pizza day, and everyone makes a joke out of the guy who spent 10,000 Bitcoin on pizza, but like without that transaction, it would always have just, not always, but it would have took a little. I think the second transaction right after that was drugs. Like, come on, like it saved us. So thanks to the pizza guy a little bit there for that. But like it was proving that it is a real world use case, and I've been living off of Bitcoin forever. So
I
it's
shouldn't say
just
no one. You're doing awesome things, and I like commend that. But I think it's for the average person that's just getting into Bitcoin. They're like, wait, why would I spend something that is essentially like making me money?
right.
So you got into Bitcoin, and then it took you some time, and then you went all in. I think, right? Is that your?
Right, yeah, no, I went all in.
Yeah,
I
and I
sold
think
my
that's
Xbox and everything.
it's amazing. Like I total respect for that. I think that like this next 100 million people it's going to take them some time to go
Yep.
all in. And so how do you teach somebody? You have to give them incentives to go all in, to take at least 10% of their assets and put that into Bitcoin or some form of cryptocurrency that exists in the future that is better than Bitcoin if that exists.
Right, and I like again, I like that it's not like I'm using Lolly's website directly. I'm just clicking on the link, and it takes me to the actual websites that I'm going to shop. I got
Exactly. Yeah,
I
you're,
got
you're
a dead
doing
link.
taking exactly what you would normally do, and we're just trying to make it easier and make it super seamless.
Oh, 1-800-Flowers is on here with a 5% kickback in Bitcoin, dude.
We,
That
we
is
had to we
dope,
had to do that for the moms out there. Start that
dude.
conversation. Hey, mom, I got you some tulips and earn some Bitcoin. Everybody wins.
So would this work in a mobile experience since it's not like using your platform to shop through these? Is there any way to do this in a mobile way?
Yeah, so we're going to launch a mobile experience that's going to let you use Lolly as you currently can, and you can actually use Lolly on mobile right now. You just go to like lolly.com, you log in. The experience is not the same. You don't have like a notification that comes up. You don't see your little like green bubble that says, "Hey, you're activated and you're going to earn Bitcoin." So it's a little bit you just like click through and you earn that way. What mobile will do is it will give you more verification saying like, yes, you're earning this. This is how you're earning, how much you're earning in each place. It's just a better experience. And then it's also going to give you the ability to go in store and earn Bitcoin when you get your groceries at the store that you go to, at the coffee shop that you love. I have this big belief on a user experience perspective, product perspective, where you have to create rituals around Bitcoin to make it part of everyday life. And so you're a great testament to this. Like it's part of your everyday life. You think in Satoshis.
Right,
You think
exactly.
in whatever you are. So it's just native to you at this point. In order to get the rest of the world to think about the world in Satoshis, you have to like take ritualistic things. You have to take like me going and get my coffee. I should get a notification every day that says you just earned 5,000 sats. And then you start to think, how much is that does that mean? And then as Bitcoin goes up because more people in the network are using it, that's when it gets more exciting to people. And then price becomes the secondary factor to the earning. And then people start to invest more of their money into Bitcoin. And then people start to think about spending it. The masses start to think about spending it. That's personally where we want to be like right at the forefront of that. And that's where I think it gets really exciting from my perspective.
From what I hear, dude, it just to me it sounds like you're just disruptive, right? I mean, like you have to be pissing somebody off in the rewards industry somewhere. I'm just curious, like who do you find that you may be disrupting? Like where does this kind of change the game now for the legacy rewards industry?
I mean, we want to be Visa for Bitcoin, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like, I think that there will be a rewards network, and there will be a payment network on top of Bitcoin that drives fees down to zero, that gives everyone in the world the ability to connect through commerce and lets everybody buy and sell anywhere. And I think the world needs to be on a digital cash system, and we need to be able to connect more seamlessly. And we don't need middlemen, and we need people who are enabling commerce everywhere. So I hope. I mean, I think we'll piss off everybody at some point.
That's what it sounds like, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
somebody out there's like, damn it.
Right now we want to be friends with a lot of people. I mean, you got to use your Visa credit card, you got to use your MasterCard to and you earn Bitcoin back. So right now, we're friends with everybody, and I want to be friends with everybody.
So if
Uh,
one of these stores accept Bitcoin, so like if say Gap or Jet or Groupon started accepting Bitcoin and I used Bitcoin, I'd still get Bitcoin rewards, or do I have to use my credit card to earn the rewards points?
you can pay with whatever you want. It could be PayPal, it could be Bitcoin, it could be anything. So Overstock and Microsoft are two of our partners that accept Bitcoin. And yeah, you could go pay with Bitcoin and earn Bitcoin
Yeah, I
back.
was talking to Dr. Patrick Bjorn at a conference, and we were talking about like how I shop with crypto all the time, and for some odd reason he was like, hey, do you happen to know what like the most bought item on Overstock is with Bitcoin? I'm like, no, why would I? What? And he was like, sheets. It's weird.
What?
I was like,
Why is
okay.
it? Oh, that's
I'll
interesting.
never forget that little blurb. Like I was talking to him, and it was just like we're talking about shopping with crypto, and he's like sheets. It's weird. Like it is weird. I wonder
What?
why.
Why is it sheets?
So what is one of your biggest, most used partners? That's kind of where I was segueing with that. Is do you find people mostly shopping with like Walmart or Groupon or like what businesses are the most used for your clientele right now?
So Walmart, Jet, and Overstock are three of our biggest on the retail side. And a lot of people are just switching over their Amazon purchases to places where they can earn Bitcoin. They're like, Amazon doesn't serve me. I'm loyal to Bitcoin. I'm loyal to this. Like I want to earn Bitcoin with all my purchases. And Walmart and Jet and Overstock are all competitive on price and selection. So there's like I personally haven't shopped at Amazon in 7 months since we launched, and I haven't noticed any differences. I personally like shop almost everything on Jet at this point. High quality goods. I get my Bitcoin back. I personally love it. And then a lot of our users have switched over. So we're close with the Amazon team. We've known them for years, and they're listening. Like they see this community on Twitter.
Oh,
They
I'm
see.
sure. I mean, not to plug competition, but I mean, Purse.io, you could shop with Amazon and Bitcoin. I'm sure they're keeping an eye on that. I mean, there's a lot of liquidity there. So there's obvious reasons for buying and selling Bitcoin for Amazon gift cards.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to speak poorly about Purse. I think they're like, sort of friendly competition or whatever, but it's not like if you're new to Bitcoin,
Oh, you see, it's definitely a different experience for sure.
you would just never use it. And we want people that are like, new to Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, and then, think about like spending it.
Well, that's the thing with like purses, you have to use crypto, and with
Exactly.
Lolly, you can just shop as normal. And
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just curious,
gonna
is there
know
like
the
a
whole.
Lolly card coming soon so I could just like walk into Walmart, shop in real life, and get that 5% Satoshi kickback?
That's the dream. That's where we want to get to. So I think, and that's the thing. Like we want to work with Visa to do that. At some point, you need.
I mean, John McAfee's got his own card. Talk to him. Maybe he could help you out.
We're good. I think we have a good plan. We
He's like,
support
we're
some
good.
people. Yeah, John McAfee.
He has his own credit debit card. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Oh, dude, you gotta
Do I
check it
want
out.
to?
I'm waiting to get mine in the mail.
Oh my God. I gotta check
Yeah,
that
you
out.
gotta look it up. John McAfee debit credit card. It's got like the American flag and his face on it. It's great.
Oh my. Oh, I bet it does. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, man. So
Good deal.
so with the roadmap for Lolly right now, what do you see as like the next thing on the to-do list, the chopping block? What have you guys just maybe checked off your to-do list, and what's your next plan of execution?
Yeah, so we I think we've built a really great technology on web. So we're right now gearing up to launch a mobile app,
Cool.
and we just started to work on that. That's going to be big for us. We secured some really big partnerships that we're going to be announcing over the next few weeks and months. We are looking to like today, which I'll announce on the show. We're announcing our partnership with Caviar, and Caviar is like a food delivery company. They're amazing, very fancy, but actually like great prices and everything. And you can actually go buy pizza, and instead of spending Bitcoin, you can earn Bitcoin. And so we're doing this blog post where we're talking about if Laszlo in 2010 had actually earned Bitcoin back instead of spent it, he would have gotten 350 Bitcoin, and that would be 2,750,000 yeah, $2.75 million in Bitcoin if he had used Lolly, if Lolly had existed. So sorry, Laszlo, but it did not, and we that's why we
Wow.
exist now.
That is some serious Satoshi perspective right there. And like even if you had even if you only had a couple sats in 2015, 16, Bitcoin was like 3, 4, 500, it'd still be worth something more today. And that's the whole perspective thing. In a world where John McAfee doesn't have to eat his own dick, 5% kickback in Bitcoin transaction is potentially a nice car.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be great. So yeah, we're trying to give more people more Bitcoin and distribute it to as many people as possible is our mission.
So it's what was the name of the company again? Caviar?
Yeah, Caviar. Try caviar.com.
Trycaviar.com. I don't know if they're local to where I'm at because I feel like I'm not anywhere fancy enough for caviar. But I feel like is that just like a food delivery service?
Yeah, they're like, and we're gonna launch a few more in the future that are more
So it's like an
widespread.
Uber Eats, right? It's not like a restaurant itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, people might have thought that it might be the name of a restaurant and not have looked. So I was like, I bet it's the name of like a Uber Eats esque.
It's like Postmates or Uber Eats. It's like you order from it. It has all your local spots like burgers, pizza, whatever you order.
I'm gonna have to check that out and try to. I just ordered some pizza actually, so I might have to do another one.
Go for it. Stack those sats. So
So,
it's
do you see any plans for any other currencies or anything, or is it truly sticking to Bitcoin? Is there any potential for anything else?
I'm always open. I'm not like a complete maximalist. I personally think Bitcoin is the best brand and also the easiest for people to understand. And I think if you come at them with like 100 currencies, it's a very complicated message for most people who are new to it to understand. I also think that Bitcoin has like really proven its value to society already, and a lot of other currencies have yet to prove like true value to the rest of society. So I'm going like I'm personally like really long Bitcoin, long Lightning, going that route as opposed to offering just a bunch of currencies. And I don't want to speak poorly. I'm sure like a lot of these are early on, like they don't have 10 years behind them to develop and distribute. But I do sort of have like a moral dilemma where I only want to give something that I fully trust, and I think Bitcoin is that. So we're starting with Bitcoin. I think I do have like I think, a long-term approach to stable coins that I don't think any
Oh,
of
okay.
those have really proven their value yet. But I think hypothetically, stable coins are really interesting, and especially not necessarily for people in the U.S., but for people outside the U.S. When we start to expand internationally, like one thing on the horizon is we're probably going to be in Canada this year, and hopefully in other countries in the future. So I think we need to expand internationally. We've had so much international demand, so we need to get international. And when you go international, like the thing that I think we take for granted is that the U.S. dollar is essentially a stable coin. We If you go to, let's just say, like Singapore or Japan, you are going to find people that were probably more interested in forex trading, and they would also be interested in stable coins. So they might want to earn like a U.S. dollar stable coin as opposed to their native Japanese yen.
Right.
And so you have to offer more currencies at that point, and then those are going to be, I think, have like a lot of value in sort of the future of forex or currency conversion, where if I'm doing cross-border transactions, I might want to receive my native currency where someone pays with their native currency. And so I think like that'll evolve. We're not ready to launch that yet. I don't think they're ready for us to launch that yet. But yeah, we're keeping an eye on different currencies, and I'm all ears. I'm not. It may seem like I'm dogmatic, but I'm very much just trying to take a like objective, like critical approach, and not be. I don't want to be a first mover with like offering new currencies. I want to be like slow and methodical.
So when's your ICO?
No ICO. No
No
ICO.
ICO, man. No Lollycoin. Damn it.
No
I was
Lollycoin.
hoping I could just laugh at my screen and pretend I was licking Lollycoin, man.
Yeah,
Too
no
bad.
shilling Lollycoin yet, but yeah, I'll let you know. We'll announce it on the show if we ever get.
Yeah. I
Uh,
feel like ICOs are going to make a comeback in a way that nobody's ready for, and STOs are going to be as boring as anything, and IEOs are just crickets.
I could see it being really big in international markets. I think in the U.S., if you
Yep,
are
that's it.
a good team, and you have like we can go raise money, and it solves the raising money part in a big way. And there already is, like, a lot of market correction with the STOs and the ICOs. I think the greatest part is it democratizes fundraising. It gives
Yep.
teams all over the world the ability to raise real money at good valuations, and then surely, like, there'll be more risk. Like, there's a reason why Silicon Valley companies are largely, like, more successful. There's a lot of money there, and they have access to the capital, but opportunity, like talent's everywhere, and opportunity is not. And so I like the democratization of opportunity that the ICOs give. Right now, it's crazy, and there's a lot of corrections that have to be done, and probably some sort of regulations in place that probably should exist to protect the consumer investor. But it'll be interesting. We're just not. We don't need to do that. We have awesome investors. We have really, like, strategic and supportive investors that have helped us land more merchants and have some defensibility there. So yeah, at some point, I'd be interested in giving our users equity and having our users invest in us. But I would want the business to be at a really good place, so that again, like, if you're buying into Lolly, like, I don't want to lose anyone's money. Like, professional investors are open to the potential of, like, losing money, and they want to take on that risk. And I think if you were to raise more money, like Kraken, for instance, just did essentially like a public fundraise. But they're a great business. It's like a exchange. They've been around for a while. They make money. I think it totally makes sense to invite their user base to own a part of Kraken.
No, yeah, absolutely. What were some of your like hardships, and how did you overcome them with Lolly with getting these partnerships? Like, I'm sure there was some pushback from Jet and other companies that were just maybe deterred. How do you acquire these partnerships? What was it like, those conversations? What were some of, like, the borders to these partnerships, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, great question. So it goes back to a lot of what you brought up earlier, where the incumbent loyalty systems, the incumbent point systems are great mug, by the way. Um,
Cheers.
yeah. So yeah, it goes back to like a lot of the understanding. I think what people are optimizing for is really important in life and in business. And a lot of these merchants are optimizing for more sales. So if we say that there's a market that has Bitcoin, wants more Bitcoin, and we've already shown that there's like 20 million people out there that downloaded Coinbase. They are
Exactly.
want Bitcoin, that I just have to go to these merchants and say, look, you're not losing anything. You're just attracting new user, a new segment. They get really excited about it. There's not a big integration. It's really easy for them to onboard. And like I said before, I've known a lot of these people for 7 years, and I've made them a lot of money over the years in with our last company. So they trust me to a point where they're willing to trust me again. And we're building a trustless ecosystem with Bitcoin, but there is a lot of trust in the enterprise world, and you need to have some sort of credibility in a lot of cases for people to trust you with their
Well,
business.
that's right there in a nutshell. That's digital reputation and self-regulation. Right
Mm-hmm.
there, like that's why I don't really believe too much in regulations and regulators when we ourselves are capable of saying we shouldn't sell cyanide and say it's strawberry flavored. You know what I mean? Like we don't need that. We don't. That's common. Like there's a lot of things out there that should be regulated and aren't. And I like the joke. I think it was like Mitch Hedberg or George Carlin or somebody where it's I went and bought a light bulb and whatever, it fell out and I got a pair of scissors and I needed a pair of scissors to get the scissors out. Like the way they sell things is ridiculous and the way they regulate things are just as ridiculous.
Yeah, there are a lot of unnecessary, I guess, like hurdles. I think that come up that definitely make things harder. We saw a lot of those in just like the payment space. That they're you're using. There should be certain regulations, but there are a lot, and it's to protect the consumer.
Well, it's I think more so to protect the industries, the middlemen. Like at this point right now, Visa and a lot of these companies and banks in general are only relevant because regulations put them into a position where I can't legally exist without them. My employer can't just hand me cash. I have to get a check. I have to cash it. I can't just hand my landlord cash. I have to get a money order and mail it to him. Like they put these regulations in position to protect me, but I just lost 10% in transaction fees, money order fees, every other kind of fee. My employer has to pay payroll tax, employee tax, and then that piece of paper that the check's printed out on is like $30. To be a small business in America in this day and age is so disincentivized. Like, no, there's no reason to start one unless you're just gonna have people work under the table so you can barely break even.
Yeah, it's tough. There's so many middlemen to pay, and then they control the pipes. It is really frustrating. And I think like one thing that we've thought a lot about, because like with our last company, we had to deal with all of these like payment companies, and they were all taking percent of the pie. I think it's like you have to be friends with them, and you have to like incentivize them to change over and show them that there's economic incentive to switch over to the new rails. And there will be like new parties that come up that replace them if they don't move fast enough. So
So, I
we
mean, that kind of segues me into your competition in the legacy reward system. Do you see them kind of getting more interested in doing what you're doing? Because there's other companies that do have partners. If you shop X, Y, and Z, you get like some centralized shitcoin in their ledger, but it ain't Bitcoin. But they're kind of already doing this. Like if I go to Rite Aid and CVS and whatever, they all have this one partner that I can get like a Snickers if I spend $1,000 in cash.
yeah.
It just takes forever to earn the rewards that you actually start to acquire. Just it doesn't feel like you can keep up. And what's funny with the Bitcoin thing is you said $15. Well, if you only had $10 a few months ago, you have enough to withdraw today.
For just holding.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
So yeah, it adds up fast. We like I think point systems, like to your point, are basically shit coins. Like you have all these points that people just create these like hyper centralized organizations. They control what they're worth. They control the arbitrage on the consumer, and consumers are getting really savvy, and they're realizing that point systems are just arbs on them, and that like it's not a real they're not real. Like it's basically the shit coins of that these institutions have created. And one of the things that we pitch when we go to these merchants is like Bitcoin is the most fair point system for everybody to own and earn. and is real currency that anyone can use anywhere in the world. And when we position it like that, they get really excited because it's something that they already understand.
Right. It's not like you have to be like, well, if they earn points here, they can spend them at Pizza Hut, but that's about it. It's like, no, they can spend Bitcoin everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, I think, what I think is the most interesting aspect of Lolly and the partnerships with like Walmart and Jet and Groupon and stuff like that is their customers are earning these points that incentivizes them to accept those points, which is Bitcoin, inevitably.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, if I keep shopping at Walmart, I'm going to keep getting Bitcoin rewards. Eventually, Walmart's going to be like, well, damn, they're not shopping here with that. They're going somewhere that accepts it.
Yeah. And then they start to accept it because they're incentivized to. And if they're not, then they're losing out on dollars.
Exactly. I mean, why wouldn't you accept your own loyalty points? You know, it doesn't make any sense. So I love that little Trojan horse that really lights the fire under the legacy, industry's ass to accept crypto. And the metrics, I'm sure behind anything done shopping, there's data to be mined. Those metrics are probably making them salivate right now, wishing that they could capitalize on that. And if they could just realize that if they accepted Bitcoin, they would have a public ledger of all the public addresses of all the customers that ever shopped there. With their own little Walmart chain analysis, they could find customer shopping habits and they could have sales set for X, Y, and Z, or they could reach out by sending their own shitcoin as a color coin to the address. There's so much potential.
There is. I'd probably lean on the privacy side where I'd want to give the consumer the ability to pay privately.
So we use a burn wallet.
Yeah, and you could do like a coin join and mix up before you pay. There's
Lolly
some,
coin join shopping. That sounds like a good partnership.
yeah, we're pretty excited. We're going to lean more on the privacy side over the course of history. I just think that like privacy always wins. And I think you have to give the consumer. You have to always look out for the consumer, and if you always look out for the consumer, then I think that's going to ultimately build the best product. So I could see us doing like a one-button coin join, and with our pool of users, and if everyone had private anonymous wallets, and it was always like switching around, sort of the advantages of a custodial wallet, and then the retailers wouldn't necessarily be able to track. I think the ideal is that if people want to opt in to share certain things, like my issue personally is like I'm okay with sharing my data with merchants to a certain extent. I just want to know what I'm sharing and what they know about me, and I want to be able to go into a database, a dashboard, and see like Walmart knows my age, my marital status.
Same thing with this guy right here. Like, I have this Amazon Echo. I can go into it and see everything that it's been listening to this whole day. And that's important to know. Yeah, you can have my data, but I want to be able to audit what you're getting and what you're doing with it.
Exactly. And I would love to like earn more at certain places by opting in for them to know some.
That's what I was getting to. Exactly. When you opt into that, you're incentivized. You're gamifying the data now. You're rewarding for it. And now, if I shop at Walmart, maybe if I opt in to let them see more information, I get more rewards for that. And that's the give and take of how it should be. And that's the middlemen of the legacy reward system I see being cut out with smart contracts that will be written for this merchant, experience that has yet to be created. But with building blocks like Lolly and things like CoinJoin and X, Y, and Z, you could start to see the stepping stones being built to this, future that, to me, it feels like, as we detach more and more from these middlemen, we're actually brought closer together as a community again. It's a weird side effect of decentralization to become centralized.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great byproduct. We all choose to live decentrally. Well, isn't like that's anarchy? If everybody lived in anarchy, isn't anarchy its own government? Like now you're not. Now if you were to do a government, that would be anarchy.
Yeah, it's so true.
So I guess to kind of wrap things up here, anything that you wanted to touch on, talk about, or anything that we should let people know? And I mean, it's literally as easy as going to lolly.com. You don't need to do any KYC. It's just a username, your email, a password. You confirm the email address with, I think, a PIN number, right?
Yeah, with like an email verification.
Yeah, there's an email verification. That's it. That's the 2FA KYC right there. Email verification. You're done. And then you can just go to Nike and shop. Or
Yeah,
Adidas.
Adidas,
Nike soon.
Adidas, or anywhere. Jet, get your groceries. Travels, like travels are one of you asked are some of our biggest. Priceline and Booking.com and Hotwire have been really big for
Oh,
us.
wow. Nice.
So for all those conferences that I see that you went to, it's like imagine stacking sats on all those every time you go everywhere. So that's like going to be really big for.
Well, a lot of the platforms I use accept Bitcoin, but do not give me any kickback in Bitcoin. See, I use Purse.io, but it doesn't give me any Bitcoin back. I
Mhm.
use Bitrefill, I don't get any Bitcoin back. I use Cheap Air and Travela, and they accept Bitcoin for hotels and flights, but I don't get anything back. So, how, like, is it possible, to see if Lolly could partner with these companies that actually already accept Bitcoin, so therefore when I spend it, I can earn it?
Yeah, that's the goal. So yeah, I'm going to reach out to Travela. That's been on my to-do list. That'd be great to work with
Oh,
more
dude, they're
Bitcoin.
sponsoring the Crypto Bit Bus. I have an in with their guys. I will totally put that together. Just remember me when you guys are traveling and booking your room with Travela and crypto and you're earning sats back. I was your guy.
Yes.
All right, man. Alex, I really appreciate your time. And guys, if you enjoyed this, please share it out. Let everybody know. And there is a pretty earnest referral link in here. So if you have Lolly or if you don't, you can sign up. You can get your referral link and you can educate your friends and family on how to earn crypto by doing what they do every day. And it's just shopping online. Who doesn't do that? And this is how we can get everybody to hodl some sats. So get yourself a lolly.io account, get that referral
Lolly.com.
link, and shill that shit. Shill Bitcoin. There is nothing wrong with shilling Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. Go out and shill it. Do it now. And you'll earn some sats for doing it, for crying out loud. All right, guys, don't forget, pound the thumbs up button and have a day.